Today we are taking a look at Momo Belia Deviluke from To Love Ru Darkness. This is the Trio-Try-iT figure by Furyu. To Love Ru Darkness is a sci-fi romantic comedy series that keeps Rito Yuuki at the center while shifting more of the story's momentum toward Momo and the situations she deliberately sets in motion. Within that story, Momo is Lala's younger sister and one of the central heroines. She plays a more deliberate and influential role behind the scenes, which gives her a very distinct place in the series compared with characters who react more than they drive events. Today's highlights for this figure are the cutout costume design, the body line, and the expression with the pose. The costume is one of the strongest points of the figure. The heart-shaped opening at the center of the chest, the smaller heart-shaped cutouts in the sleeves, and the large side cutouts around the waist all create different ways of showing skin without making the design feel repetitive. Because those openings are placed at different heights and surrounded by ribbons, gathers, and curved fabric edges, the outfit keeps a lot of visual variety across the upper half. The body line is also very effective. The figure moves from the chest into a narrow waist, then opens back out through the hips and thighs, so the silhouette stays easy to read from front, side, and back angles. That flow is strengthened by the high-cut lower section of the outfit and by the way one leg is set forward while the other stays slightly back. The expression and pose then tie the figure together. The eyes stay calm and focused, the mouth remains slightly open, and the raised hand near the lips gives the face a playful but composed feeling. At the same time, the tilted head, the low hand placement, and the tail curving around the body keep the whole pose feeling active rather than stiff. This channel brings you figure reviews and anime merchandise updates straight from Japan. If you enjoyed this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. The face is built around a very controlled expression. The eyes are large but not overly wide, with purple irises that use inner patterning and bright highlights to keep them from feeling flat. The upper lash line stays clearly defined, while the mouth is left slightly open instead of forming a broad smile, so the figure keeps a soft but self-aware expression rather than a loud or exaggerated one. Because the raised fingertips stop just in front of the lips, the face immediately reads as playful without losing its composure. What makes the face especially effective is how balanced it feels. It does not rely on an exaggerated smile or a dramatic stare to create personality. Instead, the expression stays calm, direct, and slightly teasing, which gives the figure a very readable presence from the front. That restraint works well here because it lets the eyes, mouth, and hand placement support each other instead of competing for attention. The hair supports that impression well. The bangs fall in separated front sections across the forehead, and one side comes down deep enough to cover much more of one eye than the other. The rest of the hair is kept in a short bob, with the lower edge broken into small stepped ends instead of one flat line. At the sides, the white flower accessories add a clean, contrasting accent, while the darker inner shading around the lower strands helps the short hairstyle keep some depth from the front and the back. Even though the hairstyle is compact, it still gives the head enough variation to stay visually interesting. The contrast between the smooth outer shape, the separated bangs, and the broken lower edge keeps the silhouette clean without making it feel plain. Because of that, the head area works not only through the expression, but also through the way the hairstyle frames and supports it. The upper body works because the costume creates several different focal points without becoming crowded. At the neck, the white ribbon choker gives the figure a small light accent before the eye drops down to the sunglasses hanging at the chest. Below that, the blue upper section of the outfit is shaped with gathered edges and rounded volume across the chest, so the fabric does not read as one flat block. The heart-shaped opening at the center of the chest is especially important because it breaks that blue surface with a clear cutout that still remains readable even though the sunglasses sit partly in front of it. That central opening helps organize the whole upper half. The gathered edge at the top, the rounded chest shape, and the pale blue center section below all led naturally into that cutout, so the upper body feels structured rather than random. The sunglasses also matter more than they might seem at first glance. Because they hang directly in front of the chest opening, they add one more layer to the design and keep the center of the figure from feeling too empty or too exposed. The sleeves add another layer to the design. They puff outward just below the shoulders, and each one includes its own smaller heart-shaped opening, so the cutout motif is repeated in a different position and scale. That repetition helps the design feel coordinated across the upper half without looking too rigid. The sleeves also create a nice contrast with the bare shoulders and upper arms, which keeps the transition from skin to fabric very easy to read. From there, the torso narrows into the pale blue center section, which drops straight down through the stomach before opening again at the sides into the large waist cutouts. Those side openings connect visually to the tied details at the hips, so the transition from covered fabric to exposed skin and then into ribbon accents feels intentional rather than abrupt. On the back, the outfit opens widely and is held together by a narrow horizontal strap and thinner crossing straps, which keeps the rear view much lighter and more open than the front. Taken together, the choker, sunglasses, chest opening, puffed sleeves, and narrow torso give the upper body a very layered but still readable structure. The lower body is where the figure's silhouette becomes especially effective. The lower section of the outfit cuts high at the hips, which keeps the line from the waist into the thighs very clear. From the front, that lower edge rises sharply from the center toward the legs, while from the back, it wraps more smoothly around the hips, so the outfit changes character depending on the viewing angle. A white frill band wrapped around one thigh adds an extra layer that breaks up the larger skin surface and gives the lower half one more distinct point of detail. That frill detail is especially useful because it keeps the lower body from depending only on the leg line. The eye moves from the waist into the thighs very smoothly, and the frill gives that area a small interruption that makes the shape more interesting. It also adds a lighter accent against the skin, which helps the lower half feel more layered without making it visually heavy. The pose itself is simple, but it carries a lot of attitude. One leg is placed more forward, while the other stays slightly behind, which immediately prevents the stance from feeling flat. The hand lowered along the thigh helps guide the eye downward, while the raised hand near the lips brings the focus back up toward the face. The tail then completes that movement by curving around the outside of the body and bringing a heart-shaped accent back toward the front. That combination gives the figure a very readable full body flow from head to feet. The footwear also helps the lower half feel finished rather than simplified. The white sandals have a thick base, while the clear material rising over the feet and toward the ankles adds another light layer above them. Blue trim and small ribbon details tie the shoes back into the rest of the outfit, so even the lowest part of the figure still feels connected to the costume design above. This figure is approximately 19 centimeters tall. That's about 7.5 inches. For size comparison, here's a 350 milliliter can. That's about 12 ounces in the US. Overall, Momo Belia Deviluke by Furyu stands out for the way this figure combines a playful expression, a cutout-heavy costume design, and a body line that stays clear from top to bottom. The face is one of the strongest elements here. The purple eyes, the slightly open mouth, and the raised fingertips near the lips work together to create an expression that feels composed, teasing, and very easy to read. Rather than pushing the expression too far, the figure keeps it controlled, which helps the head area hold attention without looking overly dramatic. The hair also contributes a lot to the figure's appeal. The separated bangs give the front view a more structured look, while the uneven coverage across the eyes keeps the face from feeling too balanced or static. Because the bob stays compact and the lower ends are broken into smaller sections, the hairstyle remains clean while still keeping enough shape variation. The upper body works because the outfit layout is so easy to follow. The white choker, the sunglasses, the heart-shaped chest opening, the puffed sleeves with their own cutouts, and the narrow pale blue center section all separate clearly from one another. That helps the figure keep a layered costume structure even though the design is built from relatively simple shapes. The lower half is what gives the figure its strongest silhouette. The high-cut line at the hips, the smooth flow into the thighs, the asymmetry created by the leg placement, and the white frill around one thigh all help the lower body stay visually active. Just as importantly, the tail adds another large curve around the outside of the figure, so the pose feels more dynamic than a simple standing sculpt. What makes the figure especially satisfying is that it does not depend on only one feature. The expression, the repeated heart-shaped cutouts, the narrow waist, the long leg line, and the curved tail all contribute at the same time. Because of that, fans of To Love Ru Darkness or Momo Belia Deviluke will definitely enjoy this piece. With that focus, collectors who appreciate playful expressions, distinctive costume cutouts, and a clean full-body silhouette should find it a satisfying addition. That's it for this video. If there's any part of the figure you liked, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.